I know you can't believe it, but do you know something? That's the risk you take when you don't strengthen your squad and lose players.
Lose your best players.
Absolutely, and that's been the case. I mean, the goalkeeper Everson actually has done okay recently, I think, in what I've seen. But they haven't really replaced Schmeichel, have they, for a kick-off? There's just been too many key players that haven't been replaced.
Fofana, Chilwell, you could go back to as well. Big injuries in that side throughout the season, but with what they've got in it, is this team, should they, I know it's a cliche in football, but should they be better than what they're doing at the moment?
Well, I think they're in the position that we've all kind of felt. We've looked at it for the last 7-8 weeks and we've all said, yeah, they'll be alright, they'll pick up a point here, they'll win that game, and they're now at the stage they haven't, and it could be too late. Let's be honest about it, could be too late.
Okay, well, joining us now to tell us what he thinks and where he thinks it's all gone wrong, double League Cup winner with the club, Neil Lennon, is now on the line. Hello, Neil.
Morning, Len, how you doing?
Morning, Laura. Morning, Ollie.
Morning.
Listen, Neil, I was going to say to you, mate, I mean, is that fair what I've said there? I mean, are Leicester one of these teams? Because I've been looking at, and we're, actually really surprised, bordering on staggered. You talk about a team that won the FA Cup and had the greatest, maybe one of the greatest league triumphs in recent history, and they're in the position and now. But I feel they haven't really reinvested top quality in the squad and the players they've lost. Is that fair?
No, listen, you stole my thunder, Coisty. Like, first of all, the goalkeeper, they haven't replaced them. Ward has played some of the season, Everson, but they lost a top class goalkeeper on a free.
Yeah.
And they haven't replaced them, and that's always your starting point, as you know. I think they've had a lot of problems with injuries, but defensively, even if you look at them last night, they look so fragile and lacking in confidence. They started the game off quite well. They were sharp in the tackle, but as soon as the first goal went in, you could just see the confidence ebb away, and it ended up being pretty comfortable for Liverpool last night. And I think that's been the story of the season, really. Defensively, they've never had a consistent back four.
It was funny, mate. I don't know whether you know Brendan far better than I do, but any times I've met Brendan, he's always been really kind of upbeat, really positive type of guy. But when I was watching Brendan towards it and his period there, it was as if it got to him a little bit. I wouldn't say he'd lost his enthusiasm, but perhaps the spark that was there before wasn't there. And maybe that was due to the fact that he wasn't even allowed to bring players in that he wanted. He wasn't allowed to spend any money.
No, you're spot on. I mean, even for me, I wouldn't have got rid of Brendan, to be honest with you. I think that they needed that sort of, all right, the results weren't great, but I think he would have been the one to, keep them up. And that's not being disrespectful to anybody else who would have come in. You're right, you had no investment in the summer at all. January, they brought in a couple of centre halves, but that's not sort of solved the problem, really. And, looking at them last night, Tielemans, who I think is a fine player, he just had no impact on the game at all. The midfield, and Didi, who's been great, was sloppy in possession. They just look a team short of confidence. And my worry is, going into the game on Monday with results at the weekend coming up, I think Leicester will have to win at Newcastle to have any chance of staying up, Ali, and that's going to be a big ask.
I was looking this morning as well, Neil. I was looking at their wage bill. They've got a pretty hefty wage bill. I was wondering whether or not, if they did go down, how it would affect the team and how many of their best players that would stick around. What do you think?
Oh, it's going to have huge financial implications, Laura. I think already they've invested a lot of money in a new training ground. There was talk of regenerating the stadium, but that's all well and good if you're in the Premier League. First and foremost, you have to be a Premier League team to supplement all of these things. And you're right, the likes of Maddison, Tielemans, a couple of other players, they're not going to hang around and play in the Championship. I think there'll be, not only for financial reasons, but for footballing reasons, there'll be big changes. There'll be, for me, a big rebuild, if they are in the Championship. But what they need to do is to stop the bleeding in games. I mean, even against Everton, where they drew 2-2 at home, they played okay, Coisty, but they looked so vulnerable at times. I mean, Calvert-Lewin could have had a hat-trick that night if it wasn't for the goalkeeper.
He's made a big difference, Stefan. Lenny, tell me, Celtic thoroughly deserving title winners. I know Rangers won the Old Firm game there and probably played as well as they played against Celtic in a while. there was an element of Celtic support thinking obviously the damage won, title was won, so I wouldn't say for a minute it didn't matter, but you know the point I'm trying to make. And there's been a lot of talk obviously, and there will be big changes. I think Michael Beale's already said big changes in the Rangers squad. What about the Celtic squad? I mean, obviously a really successful season, Neil, but do you see Big Ange making any changes, wanting to bring one or two in?
Oh yeah, I think you look to strengthen the squad rather than. I think there'll be a few leaving. You know, I think they'll, again, sort of try and balance the books that way. But if he does get over the line with the treble, which would be a great success for him, you got to look at participating, strongly in the Champions League, and I think, he will want to do that. I mean, they've got a good nucleus of a squad. But you've seen the results in the Champions League this year; they're a little bit short. Yeah, and I think they're going to add a bit of physicality and a bit of quality to that. And then, of course, Michael, he's gone on record to say that he wants to rebuild it. So, it'll be exciting times for both the teams going into the next season.
Yeah.
Okay, Neil, thank you very much.
Good to talk to you, and see you later on.
Great to have you on.
Boysty,
yep.
Just before I go, if you're looking for any golf balls, right, just go down Burst End near Killamon. I put about 6 in the houses there last week.
Well, the good news is I can replace them for you. I've been doing a bit of pilfering on the side here.
We'll send you some through, Neil. Neil, thank you so much.
All the best.
Take care. See you really soon.
Lot,
take care.
See you, mate.
Anthony, the Leicester fan's been on. He said we should change the slogan from Foxes never quit to Foxes always quit. No running, no passion, no fight. We aren't going to win a game. Just confirm relegation now. Can you ask Neil to come and have a word with the players? He's a scary guy. Said Neil down
It's not
there.
the most confident message we've ever done, is it? I mean, that's a white flag result, that, isn't it?
I'm yet to meet a positive Leicester fan, actually. I saw a few of them when they went to Fulham last week.
But did you not feel that last night, though? Watching it?
Yeah, as in they'd almost given up the ghost a little bit. Yeah, I did.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.